Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. I'm your host, Sblendorio. Joining me today is Mayor John Marchand from the incredible city of Livermore. Welcome, John.
Always good to be here, Sblend.
Well, let's start off. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about today, but I know you've got some things at the top of the show, some topics to share with our viewers.
Sure. Well, most importantly, so for the first, we just finished the first month of Vineyard 2.0, which is now the Vineyard Resource Center. And that just opened up, and it's to provide shelter for the most vulnerable in our community. And some of the numbers that came out of that, which I think are quite remarkable, 426 unduplicated clients in the first month. They provided 11,824 meals, 447 temporary overnight shelter beds, 346 showers, and 133 loads of laundry. And I think one of the remarkable things about the shelter is that people, it used to be that, like when it was the Livermore Homeless Refuge, which rotated between the different churches, people would pack up and they'd have to be out of there by like 7 o'clock in the morning. With the Vineyard Resource Center, they don't have to leave. They can stay there, they can have breakfast, they can have a cup of coffee. They can use the resource center, they can use the navigation center, they can work on a resume to get a job. There's a place to get their mail, some storage. So really it's a tremendous resource that's so desperately needed. And I think these numbers just underscore the fact that there is a tremendous need throughout the region. And I'm just very heartened by the fact that Livermore has stepped up to meet that need. And there's obviously a great need for it.
And John, and you know, also when it's cold or wet, it's a place of respite, and presumably in the summer months when it's warm, it'll be also a place of respite for the unhoused.
A cooling center and a hydration center. But one of the things that we need volunteers because this does operate overnight, and we need people there to help supervise and to make sure that the guests are cared for. So they can go to Open Heart Kitchen, that's all one word, openheartkitchen.org/volunteer. Because we desperately need volunteers to help out, and if people are looking for a way to help, this is certainly a way. So that's openheartkitchen.org/volunteer to volunteer their time to help out those that are disadvantaged.
And John, let's remind people where Vineyard is located.
Vineyard 2.0, or the Vineyard Resource Center, is on North Livermore, just north of the downtown.
And if we're looking for a color of building, it's prominent, isn't it?
It's beautiful. You know, when you see this thing, it looks like it's something out of Capitola. It's sort of that sea foam green, beautiful architecture. And I tell people this is a refuge. This is not in Capitola. This is you know, focusing on lifting people up, and I think that's something with this whole region to be very, very proud of, is that it is such a remarkable looking place.
It is, it is. All right, John, let's talk a little bit about the City Council is considering some changes to the retail sales of tobacco. Can you tell our viewers a little bit what changes are being considered and why?
Well, so the laws that we have to follow are sometimes kind of strange. So we have to modify those to make them work. So there is a law against selling vaping products, against selling the flavored tobaccos. And the reason being is because those attract young people. And we're trying to keep young people from starting. I just saw a thing the other day that they had banned menthol, and like 50% of the people quit because they no longer were smoking because they couldn't get the menthol. So this is what hooks kids. These flavors hook kids. So it turns out the laws are written that the sale to a minor must take place in the presence of a law enforcement officer. Okay, so somebody behind the counter is probably not going to sell to a minor if there's a police officer standing by. So what these rule modifications allow us to do is to do a search of the premises, because they're not going to have this contraband stuff sitting out in the open. Somebody's going to have to walk up and ask for it. Okay. And then they've got to reach behind the counter and find it. So what this allows us to do is allows us to just go in and actually search the premises and to see if they have any of these illegal commodities there. So it's an extra tool that we have to ensure that there's compliance with the law.
And John, who will be enforcing the law? Will it be the police department? Will it be, I know you have code enforcement personnel. Who will be doing it?
It'll be a combination of code enforcement and the police. But this will be a concerted effort. And we still use decoys as well. But it's all a matter of trying to protect people from these things that are known to cause harm.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John. Now let's talk about something I know that just you smile brightly when we talk about Tri-Valley Reach, and it recently opened a new rental unit in Livermore. First, let's remind our viewers, what is Tri-Valley Reach?
Well, Tri-Valley Reach is it's a group homes for the developmentally disabled in our community, for developmentally disabled adults, typically extremely low income, so they can't afford to pay much in rent. So these housing units have to be a collaborative effort. A lot of different agencies come together to make these work. A lot of different funding sources. So we just opened up a new residential unit on the Commons. This is in the 5 pillars, the 6 pillars of the city in our strategic plan. One of those pillars is a community that thrives. And so for a community to thrive, the people that live in that community must also have a place to thrive. That's a place to be. And what REACH allows us to do is allows places for adults with developmental disabilities. It allows them a place to be, a place to live independently and to thrive in our communities. So these are people that are quite vulnerable, but again, this is one of those opportunities where we can bring resources together and a lot of collaboration to ensure that everyone has a place to live and to thrive in Livermore. All
right, John, I want to talk a little bit about that population, but let's talk a bit about this new unit, though. It's a little unique and maybe a novel way to approach it, isn't it?
Well, but it's a tried and true model. Is they acquire these places, and again, it's a group effort to acquire them. A lot of different funding sources to make it work, but it allows for independent living, and it's in a community environment. So it's not set off by itself. It's within a community. So these have been very successful models, and it really is. It's very uplifting to see the success of these young adults in these in this environment.
Yeah, I think probably what I was getting to is what's unique about it is that it's I wouldn't say it's a group home, but it's set within an existing neighborhood of other families.
Right.
So the individuals are set in a place where they're not isolated, and maybe talk a little bit more about how they interact, how they need or access public transportation, because a lot of them have jobs. And maybe talk a little bit about how they get to their jobs and why being within a neighborhood makes them feel or makes them more part of the community.
Well, and it's being able to feel like everybody else. It's that inclusiveness, and that's the point that I made about a place to thrive. Is they're within a community. They're not isolated. It almost becomes like a family, and they learn how to survive and how to be self-sustaining, and that's very empowering. And they learn how to use public transit, and they learn how to cooperate and to work together. So it really is this collaborative environment that ensures that they can succeed, they can live on their own, and they can sustain themselves.
All right, John, and how did you, people with special needs, there's a variety of needs that they require. How do they accommodate all those needs?
Well, and that's the real key behind the organization that runs these REACH homes, is that these have to be individualized to ensure that people have the resources that they need and that they can succeed, that they've got that infrastructure in place to ensure their success. And that's the joy and the beauty of working with an organization like REACH, is because it ensures that all of those components, all those elements come together to ensure the success of these people that otherwise would have to be living at home with their parents or in an institution, which wouldn't allow them the freedom and that independence, which all of us cherish and really have a right to.
Well, John, we interact, I think, with these individuals all the time. We may not realize it. So maybe let's talk a little bit about some of the places where we see them working. I mean, if you and I go to Safeway and shop, and we will see folks with special needs working there, being and supporting themselves and being independent. And maybe talk a little bit about how that makes Livermore the special place that it is, that we have these individuals with us.
Well, it is a special place because it allows everyone, as I said, it allows everyone a place to thrive. We have the Hageman Farm, which works very closely with Sunflower Hill. And a number of people with developmental disabilities, or with different abilities, shall we say, work at Sunflower Farm, Sunflower Hill, and they're growing food for Open Heart Kitchen. So you have people that are dealing with developmental disabilities, and they're growing food to sustain people that are homeless or they're experiencing homelessness in our community. So you have this wonderful effort of people that have been disenfranchised or have been not included. They are now working to sustain other people who are disadvantaged in our community for lack of infrastructure, people that are experiencing homelessness. And some of those people experiencing homelessness also have either developmental disabilities or are suffering from mental illness. So it's everybody trying to help everybody succeed and trying to lift everybody up. Again, it's our community that thrives, and we thrive by working together and helping everyone else out, and not just by giving them a hand out, but a hand up to ensure that they have the resources necessary that they're going to need to succeed and to be independent and self-sustaining.
Well, John, how you described it is a great place to stop and really reflect on all the good things that, especially how you tied together the Vineyard Resource Center, Open Heart Kitchen, and Sunflower Hill, and helping all individuals of need within our community.
It's why I love this community, because this community really steps up, and as I've said many, many times, Robert Livermore, our namesake, was known for his kindness and his generosity. And that continues to exist. That spirit of generosity continues to exist in the DNA of our community.
All right, thank you, John. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back on this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. We are here talking with Mayor John Marchand, of course, from Livermore. Welcome back, John.
Good to be back.
So last month, we started talking a bit about Livermore's Community Service Day. But I think it's important to highlight that because it suffered a bit during COVID, and we need to bring it back. So let's tell our viewers a bit about Community Service Day. First of all, start, what is it and when is it?
Okay, Community Service Day started probably about 10 years ago, and it was originally a collaboration. It started with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They had a Helping Hands Day, and I started the Livermore Community Service Council and realized this was an ideal partnership to bring these two together. And the first time we did this, we had like 400 people came together and served the community. Well, it's been growing ever since, and the last one that we did, and it's grown. We've got, last count, I think we had a dozen different churches. We had the Hindu temple, we had the Baptist church, we had churches from all over the region helping out with this. And so it's become a much larger community event. And as I said, we had over 1,000 people before the pandemic hit. And people who just wanted to serve the community. And pandemic hit and everything sort of crashed. And one of the things that the city is really good at is we're really good at bringing people together to solve problems. With the pandemic, The problem was bringing people together, is you couldn't do it. So we're bringing it back now, and so we're taking some of the lessons from the past, but it's going to be May the 4th. It's going to be from about 8:30 in the morning to about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now it's going to be different this year. We used to meet at the Carnegie Library Park. Everybody would get their assignments, and then they would head off and do great things. The problem was because you had all these people showing up at Carnegie Park, people couldn't park. So people got kind of disappointed on that, and so what we're doing now is we're urging them to sign up early, and there's a lot of different things they can do. So they can sign up. It's the livermoreca.gov/CSD, as in Community Service Day. So livermoreca.gov/CSD. And they can sign up for any number of things. If you want to work, we're going to be planting trees, shrubs, painting, and not just at the city facilities, but a lot of the schools, a lot of the parks, throughout the community. People that aren't, not only do we want your sweat, we want your blood. So you can actually give blood, at this event. So it's a whole other different opportunities to give of yourself, literally, and give of your time, which is the most valuable thing that you have is your time. So a lot of different activities, it's different times. So get your assignment by signing up, and then show up, and we all work together to make our community a better place from about 8:30 to about 1. And then afterwards, everybody goes, all the workers go to the Hilltop soccer field at Las Positas College, and we're going to have Rotary and the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Foundation, and it's going to be a big community barbecue. There's also going to be a service fair where people can see what services are available or where they can continue to volunteer their time to make our community a better place. So there's a lot of different opportunities, but it's going to be May 4th. livermoreca.gov/CSD, and that's going live right now. So sign up, and it's going to be, as I said, we're going to have over 30 community projects where people can go, and it's a lot of fun. I've been down, picking up litter all around the community. I've been planting shrubs at Hageman Farm, painting, just any number of things.
Well, John, give us more details. I mean, if, let's say one of the assignments was planting a tree, do we have to bring our own shovels? Do we bring our own gloves? What do you recommend?
What I was bring gloves. I'm real weird about, I have to use my gloves. But we're going to have all the tools you need. We're going to have the trees, the shrubs, the bushes, the paintbrushes, the tarps, the paint, all that stuff. So
the brooms, whatever's needed.
Just bring yourself old clothes, a good pair of gloves. We will have gloves also, but I tend to be very picky about my gloves. And different gloves for different things. I've got the nitrile gloves for painting, and I've got the heavy cowhide for yard work. But we'll provide all the tools, but just bring a good positive attitude, pair of comfortable shoes, work clothes, and be prepared to just have a good time. One of the other things, I've moved a lot of mulch on these things. The city is actually required to lay out so many tons of mulch every year. It's a state requirement. And so, I've schlepped a lot of mulch around, and it's funny, people will start shoveling the mulch in with a shovelful at a time. Best thing to do is you take the wheelbarrow, lay it sideways up against the hill of mulch, and then just shove it in. And you can do it in like 2 shovelfuls, you can fill up a wheelbarrow. So,
all right. Well, John, the point of all the community service day is to make Livermore, or keep it the great place that it is.
That's right.
Right? We make it a little prettier, a little cleaner, and that helps everybody for the next year. Hopefully you'll get more trees planted, more bushes trimmed, things like that.
Shine up that sparkle for Livermore.
Yeah, so
but it's giving your time to make Livermore a better, to keep it a great place to be.
Right, exactly. All right, talking about keeping Livermore healthier a little bit is earlier this month, Livermore hosted a half marathon, and it started in downtown. And I know you were there. So first let's start. Why hold a half marathon? Why close off the streets? What does it do for Livermore?
Well, it's easier than a full marathon, but that's why we do a half. It's a fun thing. It's bringing together all these different communities, all these different folks. We had folks from 50 different cities, from 31 states. And you wonder, why would people from 31 states come to Livermore? Well, because it's one of the most beautiful courses you will ever run. You're running through the wine country. It is just beautiful. In fact, we were voted one of the most beautiful courses in the entire state. So it's a great opportunity to get out and share your passion for running, to get out into the community, to get out into the vineyards and the open space. Block off the streets so that people can do this safely. And we had over 3,500 people sign up for this. There were 800 people signed up for the 5K. We had 200 kids sign up for the kids run. And it's so the kids can enjoy, it's a family time coming together. And then they all come into our downtown, our award-winning, beautiful downtown, and it's a little early for some, but there's wine and beer tasting. And it's a community celebration of everybody coming in together to enjoy our beautiful downtown and to enjoy the beautiful place that we get to share and call home. And so it's a lot of fun. And being able to share that with everybody, it's something that we should all be very proud of, that people want to be able to come here and want to be able to share those assets that we have.
All right, John, I do need to ask you, though, about some of the downtown merchants, how they feel about it. And some probably love it, maybe others not so much. But what's the residual impact for the downtown merchants of having their Sunday morning kind of booked up?
Well, first of all, it starts at 7:30 in the morning, so none of them are open.
Except for the coffee houses.
Except for the coffee, well, even them, they sometimes open a little bit later. But one of the great things was after the marathon, I went to the farmer's market.
There you go.
And I saw a lot of people walking through the farmer's market wearing their medals or wearing their T-shirts that they got from the marathon or the half marathon. So yeah, you knew that they ran in the half marathon and that there's a really cool farmer's market here. Let me see what's at the farmer's market. And they come in and they get to buy the fresh produce or have a cup of coffee or get some of the potato chips or the pork buns, any number, or the lobsters. I mean, it's being all those cool, fun things. So I think that most of the merchants, I mean, all of a sudden they had 3,500 people in the downtown that they don't normally have. So I think it's a win for everybody. And even if the places were not open, you've got these runners coming into the downtown and saying, hey, I didn't realize there was this restaurant selling this here. I'm going to come back for that. And that was one of the fun things with the Little League World Series, is when we had the parade downtown and people said, oh, well, this is a really cool looking store. I'm going to come back on Monday and see what they've got. So it's introducing people to our downtown, and it brings them back.
All right, and you got healthier people. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, enthusiastic people that really enjoy life.
All right, John. John, now we don't have much time left, but I know there's a lot of wonderful things happening in your city. So are there any events or items you'd like to update our viewers about?
Sure. So we've got, during March, we have the Livermore Public Library invites the community to participate in Livermore Reads Together. And this is a great program. This is the, I can't remember, this is like the 5th or 6th one we've done, but Livermore Reads Together. And this one, the title of the book is called They're There. And it deals with about a dozen Native Americans living in the Oakland area, or living or visiting in the Oakland area, going to a powwow. And it's pretty deep. It's pretty intense, but it's it's amazing. It's Tommy Orange's first book,
Okay.
But it's very highly acclaimed. It's, as I say, it's poignant and it's unflinching.
All right. Thank you so much, John, for being here and updating us. I'm Sblendorio. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report of Livermore right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you so much for watching.